With harmonious integration comes the appropriate attitude to inconsequential actions, actions we engage with, ominous circumstances, and the final end of things. According to some translations, this sutra is to do with the yogi having knowledge of his own death, or the time of his own death. And he inquires this knowledge through various omens. So there's a bit of divination involved. Needless to say, we shall be ignoring that interpretation. Although perhaps I should say something about what I've described here as inconsequential actions and actions we engage with. This is understood as karma, and the consequences of some karma come immediately and some are deferred. And I've translated this as actions which don't have any immediate consequences. These are everyday actions. For example, walking along the street, eating. Our concern here, however, is with actions that reinforce our psychological tendencies, our mood patterns, our habitual moods, and actions which don't. So these are consequential or inconsequential actions. They're actions which we either emotionally engage with or we don't. So what's being described here in this sutra? I mentioned a while back about my attitude to meditation and how I'd done a lot of it in the past. And I'm a little bit skeptical about it. You seem to spend an awful lot of time wandering in what I call the psychopathic landscapes of the mind. And it's quite possible you're actually spending a lot of time making it worse rather than making it better. But that wasn't quite the whole story. I used to go on regular retreats, Buddhist meditation retreats, and there were times I seemed to be doing very well. I got very focused. I was balanced. Prior to that, there might have been some quite dramatic activity, and you'd occasionally see this round the meditation hall. Somebody almost having convulsions or going through a great emotional catharsis. This might be described in various ways. Perhaps a Hindu would have described it as some kind of Kundalini experience, but the Buddhists tend not to explain things in terms of Kundalini. What was happening was, as the mind and body relaxed, tensions were being dissolved, were being let go of, and it seemed to me I'd reached some of these states of absorption which the Buddhists talk about, even wordless states. There was no conceptual thinking going on, just attention, mindfulness, focus, and it felt good. But there was another feeling there. Another feeling. What next? Is this it? Where do we go from here? And that was the problem. What do you do with this? It was all very well coming on a Buddhist retreat and getting into a very fine, refined state of absorption. But what's the relevance of this for the rest of life? Well, Sutra 22 tells us what to do next. We take this focused mind, we take our harmonious integration and apply it in the light of all experience, and we maintain harmonious integration in the light of all experience by having the appropriate attitude, by having knowledge of the true nature of all this experience. And this experience is in terms of actions which are either automatic or which we are emotionally engaging with. And actions that we emotionally engage with are actions in which we want a particular outcome. Perhaps going for a job interview. We go for a job interview so that we can get the job. Now it might be you get the job, so this is a good outcome. But no matter what the enterprise, no matter what you engage with, at some point things come to an end. And this is referred to in the last two items of this sutra: ominous circumstances and the final end of things. Omens tend to be harbingers of misfortune, which is why I've described this as ominous. Ominous comes from omen. And the final end of things, it could be the end of a particular enterprise, or it could be death. So we maintain the appropriate attitude in the face of this sequence of possibilities. On my YouTube channel there's a series of videos on the Yoga Vasishta, and the Yoga Vasishta presents us with many stories which point us to our essential reality. And many of these stories are set in times of great trauma. It could be war, and the good king is losing. His kingdom is being shattered. His loved ones defiled and killed. Or it could be the death of parents. And the point is, these circumstances suck us right in. They're traumatic. And by their very nature, they become our priority. But what the Yoga Vasishta is telling us is that they're an opportunity. We take everything that is happening out there as a reminder of here. And this is a sequence of events that is described in Sutra 22. There are everyday actions that we engage with without emotionally investing in them. But then there are enterprises that we emotionally invest in. These have their lifetime. At some point, that lifetime will come to an end. And in it all, the challenge for the spiritual practitioner, for the yogi, is to maintain or to keep coming back to harmonious integration, to keep realizing the bigness that is here, and not sacrificing it to the dramas that are apparently out there. And the next two sutras, Sutras 23 and 24 of Book 3, give us some help with this.